Disclaimer. Please, if you're sensitive with graphic imagery and themes, or that deep and dark themes may affect you, beware of this video, and watch it with caution.
My name is Susan Ashworth. I live alone in this old two-bedroom flat. I rarely go outside.
Cat Lady is a game about struggles, loss and grief, fighting your demons, eternal or external, showing you the beauty and the ugly in life, and making you fall in love with it. The story revolves around someone that wants to end their life, but instead is forced to accomplish a mission, and we follow her fight, accompanied by her demons, our own mental and physical exhaustion, and life and depression. Our mission is based on pursuing the ruin of humanity, people called parasites. Those being humans that do horrible things and somehow, by fate, they go to her, pursue her. Even though the story follows the female revenge trope, the main character isn't sexualized by the male gaze, but she still follows the strong badass characteristics so common in this trope. As our personality grows, we grow with her, and develop with the other characters. Though fictional and fantastical, this game gets across many dark secrets about life and the human being that happen in our own world, but just as real, uses those exact points and themes to develop and grow, to show that we mustn't despair and live in fear. This quest of hers is exactly what makes her see the beauty of what life can actually have, that it ain't all darkness and ruin. The game itself is very poetic and complex. It questions life's purpose and deals with the ugly part of life like suicide and cancer. I struggle with anxiety and also being dyslexic and having bipolar disorder. I lived a lot of times with unfair situations and struggled a lot to have a normal life. And this game stood out for how direct it was about the situations. The game talks about these issues so directly and with an intense atmosphere that result in a unique experience. I lived with a lot of unfair situations and I did struggle to find a motive to live sometimes, or for any purpose at all, feeling lost in a cruel world. The character deals with the disoriented time in life from someone that wants to not live anymore, making me relate to this story on a deep level like many others, I'm sure. Cat Lady is exceptionally one of the most original looking games I have ever played. From its time, I'm sure, it is successfully immerses the player into a dark and graphic experience in the most popular type of games before home consoles, incorporating the puzzle-solving mechanics with the interception and tense atmosphere of the settings and art design. It sends off a piece of media that no one will forget anytime soon. The way the characters move is stiff but chilling. The soundtrack creates a surreal atmosphere complemented with the intense and disturbing settings that even just the calm times infect the mind with anything that might happen because of the insecurity that the very visuals create. And now, warning for spoilers, do not hear this if you want to have any expectations. No enemy in the game acts independently, as if it was zombie from Resident Evil. So don't worry about enemies sneaking up on you. They only do if it is meant to, if it's programmed to. Sorry to break it to you. Nonetheless, this kind of influence congregates for a wholesome factor of the story. As your character realizes their strength and finds hope to keep on living and fighting like a badass, it's almost like the dark setting and the hard style did not matter. More so, it extends to the player. We forget for moments or get used to the tense world we were playing and find no fear, only strength. Something that we can translate to our own world. Realize how dark and fearful our world is. But that we can still find its light, our hope and strength, to forget or to get used to our or its problems, to get strength and courage to face it and live on.
You saddo. I know a song written just for you. Remind me to play it to you sometimes. It'll cheer you up. It's called All Flowers in Time Bend Towards the Sun.
Flowers, yeah. Of course they do.
The game has a very unique aesthetic that really stands out. Not only is it unique, but also complements the story, resonating with the deep themes or just as an horror game. With brutal graphic design and rare quiet moments, pronouncing every second more intense than the other. The almost photographic aspect combining a lot of textures creates an artistic connection with the real world, making it more morbid and dramatic. The game is mostly black and white, so the small moments of color create a bigger contrast, making some elements like blood more memorable and stagnating into the player's mind. Even though the game has the layout of a point-and-click game, it's controlled with the directional keys, making it more intuitive, and the camera, even though is limiting, I feel it's more liberating. It reminds me of the times when the games had fixed camera angles, making them more unique or even more scary in the horror genre, because the cameras are meant to be that way for it to work. Our protagonist is found in a deep depression, suffering from a great loss and finding no light in her life to keep going. And by attempting suicide, technically successfully, she finds herself making a deal with an old lady, or more like an obligatory request, to keep on living and coming back whenever meeting death once more, all to kill the parasites. This adventure is a special one, mostly by the symbolic and direct approach, giving something new to every player. This became one of my favorite games because of it, and I highly recommend it for someone that loves games that talk about dark topics and shine on them a more real and accurate light. These topics are not given justice in the media, and there is a lot of stigma around mental health still, and issues surrounding it. So if you're someone dealing with these situations, I highly recommend it. But be careful if you're sensitive to graphic and heavy imagery, and really, really deep and dark dialogue and themes. Be careful. After countless of years, we never had these themes depicted in so much media, and coming almost like out of the shadows. And this one is almost like one of the first ones that went right into the deep, and is indeed a monument in its depiction. With amazing story and writing, it deserves a lot of praise, especially for that opening credit scene. Amazing.